all through the tournament. Really, I thought England were a little bit disappointing against Scotland earlier in the tournament, and there was obviously the English fans weren't happy about that. But really, they have come good, and they're actually favourites for the final now, which I wouldn't have been. I would have been quite surprised about if earlier in the tournament someone would have said we'd be favourites to win the final at the final stage. Obviously, taking on Italy is not going to be easy, but we're 8-11 England to lift it, and evens Italy. So the money is actually for England.
So as you say, England's the favourites to win in this final, but they weren't the favourites at the beginning of the tournament. So can you tell us how those odds have changed as the tournament has moved on?
No, I mean, they were quite short about a month before the tournament, about 9-2, 5-1. They drifted out to about 7-1, and then after the sort of slightly disappointing group game against Scotland, they went as big as 8-1, so 8-1. But they'd never been a massive price, but obviously after that they started shortening as people believed it, and obviously they're our worst result as bookmakers, being as a lot of our business comes from the UK. So really, financially, we don't want them to win, although we'd love to see it.
So you don't just take bets on who's going to win, you also take bets on things like first to score or first to get a yellow card. Can you give us a top tip for where to place your money?
Well, actually, we do bet boosts on a daily basis, especially on the big games. And there's one that I like the look of: Harry Maguire to score a header, 14-1. He's obviously scored one already, very, very close in the semi-final. Just got tipped past the bar. He comes up all the time, gets his nut on them quite a lot. So I think that's not a bad little bet at 14-1 if I was going to have an interest in the final.
And what can you tell us about the Italians? What sort of odds would you place on them?
Well, the actual match price is in 90 minutes. Is 6-4 England to win in 90 minutes, 2-1 the draw, and 2-1 Italy. So, I mean, it is very close. It's very close betting for a final. I mean, normally you don't get one quite so close as this in the betting. So, who knows? Which way it will go. It should be a really, really good game. They are probably the two best teams in the tournament. Although Italy didn't look quite as good against Spain in the semi, but before that they were sweeping everybody aside. I think it will be very tight. It could be a little bit tactical. I've heard people saying there'll be a lot of goals. I'm not so sure there'll be. I think it could be a little bit cagey in the early stages. Potentially a couple of goals in the second half, hopefully for England.
And the elephant in the room is, what are the odds of England winning a penalty shootout?
To win on penalties, 9-1. 9-1. So, well, actually, or you want to back Italy on penalties at 9-1 as well. Cover yourself just in case it's heartbreak.